Hey everybody, welcome back to Safe Fitness Training. I want to talk a little bit about my mission statement, why I'm doing this, why all of this matters to me, why I'm working in this job in fitness to begin with. You know, it's a little bit different than a lot of these other YouTube channels that you'll see, and it's because of the nature of this workout is life-changing, life-extending, and for everybody. I talk a lot about seniors and elderly because when it comes down to it, the older we get, the more we need strength training. From the age 25, 27, we begin losing half a pound of muscle mass every single year. That's just sarcopenia for you. We will lose that muscle unless we put it on our bodies. And we'll also lose health as we deteriorate over time unless we fight that entropy. And that's really what I've found is the most powerful thing that we can do. In fact, the book Body by Science says that strength training is the best preventative medicine that a human being can put themselves through. And it's absolutely true. That is the statement that made me start doing more research into how powerful strength training is in people's lives to help them live longer, to help us live healthier, to help us get the most out of life, to be more mobile. And I know I put a stress on seniors and elderly because those are most of the folks that I work with that have changed their lives. I mean, significantly. People throwing away their walkers, canes. My own story with my mom, it is very, very clear that she would have probably broken her hip recently if she had not started doing this. We're talking about 5 years worth of strength training has saved her from having to have a hip replacement that would have struck her immobile if she hadn't been doing this. And these are the kinds of things that are able to extend our lives at least 5 years, and that's very powerful stuff. I can't stress enough how powerful that is to somebody else who just has, a few illnesses here and there, but still chronic pain. Maybe let's talk about osteoarthritis, someone with possibly lupus or anything like an immune deficiency disorder, MS, something like this. The list can go on forever. We can help. And when I say us, I mean those of us who are dedicated to high intensity strength training. You really don't have to put a whole lot of work into this if you are doing it every single week. I'm talking about maybe 20 minutes a week, sometimes 40 minutes if people do want to work out twice a week. Most of the channels out there are very concerned with hypertrophy, which is just muscle growth, and getting the best, biggest muscles that we can. And a lot of these channels will say things like, hey, if you do my workout, you'll get muscles just like me. That's just not how it works. There's a genetic component to this that is far-reaching than absolutely anything else. Arthur Jones was known to say this when people would come up and ask him, hey, how do you become ripped like Arnold Schwarzenegger? He said, choose your parents very carefully. I thought that was a very good way of expressing how important genetics are in being able to build huge muscles, smaller muscle fibers or not. When I was first certified years and years ago, they said, hey, try to take 3 fingers and put them right between your bicep muscle and your arm. If you can fit those right there to where that muscle fiber begins, it means that you just genetically have smaller muscle fibers. Your muscles aren't going to grow as big and as fast as other people. And I reluctantly looked at my very small arms, which, I'm not a big guy right now, but I have at least doubled my strength. In my legs, I have tripled my strength since I began high-intensity strength training. So I was a twig, if you can imagine how small I was, a soccer player, very small guy. Now I have some good muscle mass on my body. And I took those 3 fingers and I put them right between my elbow and my bicep, and I was like, yep, I have small muscle fibers. Somebody who is very prone to growing muscle very quickly, you take 1 finger and you wouldn't even be able to fit that between their elbow and their bicep muscle. It's very clear that genetics play the largest role in how big your muscles can grow. Because of that, that's just not as important to me as what's important, the individual. If we spend all of our time looking at other people and saying, I want to look like that. If I could look like that, then I'd be happy with my workouts. Then I'd know that I'm doing something properly. The problem is that across the board, that is not how it works. Every single person is very individually different. The things that really make me happy and make me want to continue to do what I do are those clients that come in and say, dude, I got off my statins. My doctor said that I don't need them anymore. And he asked me what I was doing, and I told him it was the perfect workout, that I was doing high intensity strength training. Usually people say, I have no idea what that is, you know? Lowered blood pressure. I had a client come in just recently and say, I basically got to step down. I cut my pills in half now for blood pressure. My blood pressure is getting better and better. And this was just after 3.5, 4 months of strength training. It was that fast. I had a client just today, and she told me that a year ago, and I was talking about these things to her, you know, I was talking about why my passion is within life extension and the health benefits of this, as opposed to Joe Schmo's huge muscles and looking like a tough guy, you know. Don't get me wrong. I have a lot of respect for people who focus on hypertrophy, but it's not what makes me really happy. If that was what I was doing, making someone cosmetically look better, I mean, does that really matter much when it comes down to it? The quality of life matters. How long we're living really matters. You know, that's what matters to me. Anyway, my client was telling me today, she came in and she said, most of my numbers for cholesterol, blood pressure, they were in the red. And my doctor told me that I needed pills. And she said, it's no longer in the red. I'm in the norm now for pretty much everything across the board. I'm healthy, you know, and this is the power of what we're talking about here, you know. Like I said, and I know I'm a little obnoxious when I say, hey, look, you know, if you're only concerned with strength training is, you know, getting huge muscles and looking big, you know, if your genetics are not just right for that, you're probably going to be sorely disappointed. I really like what Dr. McGuff says. And his whole entire thing is, don't base your improvements on someone else. If you are sitting there constantly comparing your improvements to someone else, you're doomed to failure. What we're looking for here is the individual organism to be improved through the stimulus of the workout to get that adaptive response consistently. We need to be doing this every week, at least once a week. Twice is better for most individuals, especially starting out. But all you need for those health benefits is once a week. I'm going to put a bunch of videos down below, but I really want to talk right now to the people who are having a hard time getting started. And we're talking about, to be honest, most of the folks that are having a hard time getting started in strength training are a little bit older. And if you're watching this, and I am talking to you, you know, you don't have to resolve yourself to just not being able to get started. You know, there are people out there that can teach you high intensity training. I do work for one of those companies. It's the Perfect Workout. And so just to recap all of this, my mission is to help people live longer through strength training, because strength training really is the best preventative medicine that we can put our bodies through, whether it's once or twice a week. If you do this consistently for years to come, I mean, as long as you live, you are going to change your life, and you're going to extend your life by a lot. So you are the people that I'm talking to right now, the folks that can benefit from this the most, whether it's chronic illness or older age that is putting you in a position where you think you cannot do exercise. You absolutely can. Whether you get started on your own, that's fantastic as well. But we're here at the Perfect Workout, the company I work for, and I'm going to leave that link down below like I always do. You can get started today with one-on-one strength training and just simply learn the method. You don't have to commit. You can put this on pause at any time. We're not going to rope you into something that you're not able to fulfill. That's why I work here, is because we are a company of integrity, and that's the bottom line when it comes down to it. We just want to help you live longer. And so, look, you can get a free session just to try us out, learn the method, and then hopefully, even if this is tough to fit into your budget, you can get into doing this with a trainer to learn this method so you can take it with you for life. I know having a fitness trainer isn't cheap, but it is life-changing. And if you're one of those people that has had a hard time getting started in strength training, please just go ahead and check out that link. Look, I'm here. I'm going to keep making these videos, and I hope that you get something out of this, because really my whole entire mission is to help all of you that are watching live a longer life through strength training. Y'all have a good day. I will talk to you soon.